Across the sun-scorched lands of ancient Mesopotamia, where the earth cracked beneath relentless heat and the horizon shimmered with mirages, a world of myth and mystery thrived. Here, the boundaries between the seen and unseen were thin, and every gust of wind seemed to carry whispers from another realm. Stories of gods, spirits, and demons swirled on the wind, passed from generation to generation by those who lived in constant awe of nature's power. The wind itself was alive, a messenger and a menace, shaping the fate of cities and the lives of their people. Among these supernatural beings, one figure stood out above all others: Pazuzu. With his fierce leonine face, 4 wings, and serpentine body, Pazuzu was both feared and respected as the king of the wind demons. His image was unmistakable, carved into amulets and statues, a constant reminder of his presence. To the Babylonians and Assyrians, his very name was synonymous with the harsh, southwestern wind, a force that could bring sandstorms, drought, and swarms of locusts. These winds were not just weather, they were omens, capable of turning prosperity into desolation overnight. Pazuzu's lineage was formidable. He was the son of Hanbi, the king of all demons, and brother to the monstrous Humbaba, guardian of the cedar forest. This heritage made him a figure of immense power and authority among the spirits of Mesopotamian lore. He embodied nature's most destructive forces, capable of bringing ruin to entire communities. When Pazuzu's winds swept through, they could topple houses, destroy crops, and leave villages in ruin, a stark reminder of the fragility of human life in the face of the elements. In a world where the spiritual and physical overlapped, Pazuzu was a real and ever-present threat. His winds could mean famine, pestilence, or even death, and the people of Mesopotamia lived in constant vigilance, watching the skies for signs of his approach. Yet Pazuzu's story is more complex than that of a mere villain. Despite his fearsome reputation, he was also invoked as a protector. People wore amulets bearing his image, and priests called upon his power in rituals, believing that only a demon as mighty as Pazuzu could ward off other, even more dangerous spirits, especially the dreaded Lamashtu, who threatened mothers and children. For the ancient Mesopotamians, Pazuzu was both a source of terror and a necessary guardian. His dual nature made him a paradox, at once destroyer and defender, a being to be feared, yet also to be sought for protection in times of need. The king of the wind demons was woven into the very fabric of daily life, his presence felt in every storm and every prayer for safety. In the ancient world, Pazuzu was a reminder that power could be both a curse and a blessing, and that sometimes the line between evil and protection was as shifting as the desert sands. Pazuzu's image was crafted to terrify, a monstrous blend of man, beast, and bird. His human-like body was covered in scales, standing on the talons of a bird of prey, always ready to strike. His head was a grotesque mixed canine or leonine features, bulging eyes, snarling mouth, and horns of a wild goat. 2 pairs of wings sprouted from his back, and a scorpion's tail curled behind him, symbolizing venom and death. Sometimes, a serpentine detail reinforced his underworld connections. His typical pose, one hand up, one down, hinted at his dual nature, creation and destruction. Every element of his form was designed to be apotropaic, so frightening it could ward off other evils. To see Pazuzu was to witness the supremacy of chaos, a visual warning to all lesser spirits. Despite his fearsome reputation, Pazuzu was far more than just a symbol of terror in ancient Mesopotamia. His image, with its wild hair, snarling mouth, and bulging eyes, was instantly recognizable and often misunderstood. While many saw him as a harbinger of doom, his story reveals a fascinating duality. Pazuzu's role was deeply complex, woven into the very fabric of Mesopotamian beliefs about good and evil. He was not simply a villain, but a force to be reckoned with, one that could be harnessed for protection as well as feared for his destructive power. As king of the wind demons, he brought famine and plague, riding the hot desert winds that could devastate crops and spread illness. His presence was a reminder of nature's unpredictable fury and the dangers lurking just beyond the safety of home. But this very power made him the ultimate protector. The Mesopotamians believed that only a force as formidable as Pazuzu could stand against the chaos of lesser demons and malevolent spirits. The Mesopotamians believed only a greater evil could repel lesser ones, so they invoked Pazuzu to guard against unpredictable spirits. Rituals and incantations called upon his strength, not to destroy, but to defend. Amulets and statues of his image were placed in homes, especially near doors and windows, to frighten away intruders from the spirit world. These objects served as a warning to any supernatural threat. Pazuzu was on guard. His snarl and bulging eyes weren't for the family, but for the threats outside. To the people inside, he was a guardian, his terrifying features a mask worn for their safety. Pazuzu became a supernatural bouncer, his malevolence turned into a shield. He stood at the threshold, a fierce sentinel who kept evil at bay. Inscriptions on artifacts even have him boasting of breaking the wings of other demons. These stories reinforced his reputation as both a destroyer and a defender. Through ritual, his destructive force was redirected to protect the innocent. The people of Mesopotamia learned to respect his power, channeling it for their own safety. Pazuzu was not worshipped, but employed, a weapon against the darkness, a reminder that sometimes the greatest threats can also become our fiercest protectors. The most common way to harness Pazuzu's power was through amulets. These objects, found in abundance by archaeologists, were crafted from clay, bronze, or even gold, and worn by people of all classes. The most popular amulets featured Pazuzu's snarling head, strung on cords and worn as necklaces, especially by pregnant women and new mothers. Larger statuettes guarded entire households, placed near entryways to repel evil spirits. These objects often bore inscriptions: "I am Pazuzu, son of Hambu, king of the evil Lilu demons." The amulet's power lay in both image and word, creating a magical barrier against unseen dangers. By wearing or displaying Pazuzu, families hoped to turn his terrifying presence into their greatest protection. In a world of constant threats, Pazuzu's image was a vital tool for survival. In the shadowy world of ancient Mesopotamia, few rivalries were as fierce or as terrifying as that between Pazuzu and Lamashtu. Pazuzu's greatest enemy was Lamashtu, the most dreaded demoness of the era, feared by all who knew her name. Lamashtu preyed relentlessly on mothers and infants, blamed for miscarriages, sudden infant deaths, and the mysterious illnesses that struck the most vulnerable. Her presence was believed to bring nightmares and despair, making her a constant threat in daily life. Her terrifying image haunted families, lurking in the darkness of their homes and in the corners of their minds. She became the embodiment of parental fear, a symbol of the dangers that could strike at any moment. To combat this overwhelming terror, Pazuzu was invoked as her sworn enemy, the only force powerful enough to drive her away. People believed that only Pazuzu's strength could stand against her evil. Amulets featuring Pazuzu's fearsome visage were worn specifically to protect against Lamashtu's attacks. These talismans were cherished, passed down through generations, and kept close to mothers and children. Ancient plaques and carvings often depicted Pazuzu confronting Lamashtu, his fierce gaze and outstretched wings forcing her back into the underworld. These images were more than art. They were powerful symbols of hope and resistance. These scenes weren't just myth. They were promises of protection, a cosmic battle played out in every home. Families would recite prayers and leave offerings, hoping to keep Lamashtu at bay. For Mesopotamian families, Pazuzu was the last line of defense against their greatest nightmare. His presence brought comfort, a sense of security in a world filled with unseen dangers. His rivalry with Lamashtu defined his role as a guardian, transforming him from a fearsome demon into a protector of the innocent. In the face of overwhelming evil, Pazuzu became the unlikely champion of the vulnerable, standing watch over those who needed him most, and ensuring that hope could survive even in the darkest times. Our understanding of Pazuzu comes from a wealth of archaeological finds, not ancient epics. His image first appears in the 8th century BCE, with artifacts found in royal tombs at Nimrud. Pazuzu's popularity spread rapidly, his likeness appearing in homes, temples, and graves across Mesopotamia. The consistency of his monstrous features shows a shared belief in his power. Some scholars see parallels between Pazuzu and Egypt's Bez, both grotesque protectors of mothers and children. Many Pazuzu amulets also feature other protective spirits, balancing his chaotic energy. These objects weren't just invoking a demon, they were carefully managing a dangerous force for protection. The Mesopotamians created a sophisticated spiritual defense system, blending divine and demonic powers. For centuries, Pazuzu was a forgotten figure, known only to scholars. That changed with The Exorcist, First the novel, then the iconic 1973 film. In the movie, Pazuzu is recast as the ultimate villain, possessing a young girl and embodying pure evil. The film ignores his protective role, transforming him into a symbol of demonic possession for modern audiences. The Exorcist's success made Pazuzu infamous, overshadowing his ancient identity. He became a staple of horror films and pop culture, always depicted as a force of darkness. This Hollywood version is a dramatic simplification, erasing his dual nature as both menace and guardian. Pazuzu's journey from amulet to movie monster shows how ancient myths are reshaped and often misunderstood by modern media. In the age of social media, Pazuzu's story took another strange turn. In 2025, viral rumors falsely linked him to Labubu, a line of cute designer toys from Hong Kong artist Kaising Lung. Social media posts claimed Labubu's pointy ears and toothy grin were inspired by Pazuzu, and that the name was a modern variation. Fact-checkers quickly debunked the story. Labubu has no connection to Mesopotamian mythology or Pazuzu. The rumor was pure digital age misinformation, but it spread rapidly, showing our fascination with the occult. This episode highlights how ancient figures can be swept up in new narratives, far removed from their origins. Even a 3,000-year-old demon can become the subject of modern superstition. Pazuzu's journey, from Mesopotamian protector to Hollywood villain and internet rumor, is a story of constant transformation. Once a complex figure, both destroyer and defender, he was a vital part of daily life, his image a shield against evil. Archaeology reveals his deep integration into ancient society, a guardian for the vulnerable. Modern media, however, recast him as a symbol of absolute evil, erasing his protective side. Myths are never static, they evolve, shaped by the fears and beliefs of each generation. Pazuzu's story reminds us that ancient figures are more complex than their modern portrayals. The tales of gods and demons change with us, reflecting our anxieties and hopes. The King of the Winds still howls, his story different for every era that listens.